What's up, shit? Timmy's here. With his new show called Rooster hitting HBO this week, I decided to go ahead and do my top 10 favorite Steve Carell film and TV projects. Now, I only have just one show on this list because obviously we already know what show that is, but the rest is obviously films. So here is my official top 10. All right, number 10 is Date Night. Date Night is a comedy that was directed by Sean Levy. It stars Tina Fey and Steve Carell as a bored married couples who attempts a romantic night that spirals into chaos when they're mistaken for criminals. This movie is a lot of fun. I feel like Date Night doesn't really get talked about as much nowadays, but I really quite like the on-screen chemistry with Carell, Faye, who of course will go on to also work together on that show, Four Seasons, that came out last year. And it also has some other cool cast lists, like you got you do got the likes of Mark Wahlberg, Taraji P Henson. You got who else was? Oh yeah, Mila Kunis was also in this one. I mean, Date Night definitely has a lot of fun aspects to it. Some fun action to it as well. Uh, the movie came out again. The movie came out in 2010, which does get talked about here and there, but not as much. I mean, you also got like Mark Ruffalo, Lathan Meester pops up, Kristen Wiig. It is a fun film. If you guys never seen Date Night, do yourself a favor, give that one a go. All right. Coming in at number 9 is The Big Short. Now, The Big Short I thought was a really decent film. Directed by Adam McKay, who obviously Carell has worked with tons of times. This is, of course, where like several investors predict the 2008 housing market crash and bet against the system here. And you got Carell, who plays Mark Baum, who's a cynical hedge fund manager, furious at Wall Street corruption. And he delivers a really sharp performance here. I think he actually got an Oscar nomination, if I'm not mistaken. I could be wrong there. But he does such a good job here. Of course, great cast from Brad Pitt, Christian Bale, Ryan Gosling. It is a really good cast. I mean, really, amazing film. Won a couple of Oscars. Incredible flick here. If you guys haven't seen it, give this one a go. All right, and of course, obviously, he also worked with Adam McKay and other stuff. Most notably, the movie Vice, which that's actually my honorable mention. All right, number 8 is Despicable Me. Now, this is of course where like a supervillain adopts like 3 orphans as like part of a scheme, only to find him his heart slowly softening here. And of course, he does voice the role of Gru, and he has been voicing the role from like 2, 3, 4, even Rise of Gru and I really quite like the Gru character. Definitely, like he's obviously also voiced other characters like Over the Hedge, Horton Hears a Who, but out of all of his voice characters, this is the most popular one. Despicable Me was the one that really put Illumination on the map. Really, it's such a really good film. Great, vocal performances. Really fun, really charming, really good film there. All right, number 7 is The Way Way Back. Now, this is actually a very rare villain role for Carell. He plays like Trent, who's this manipulative stepfather figure, who's a really one of his most douchiest characters to date. The Way Way Back, if you guys didn't know, is about a shy teenager who finds confidence while working at a water park during a difficult summer vacation, and he also befriends with the worker played by Sam Rockwell. This movie is great. It's wonderful film, great cast of characters. You got the likes of Alice Janney, Tony Collette, Maya Rudolph's also in this. You have Anna Sophia Robb, Sam Rockwell steals so many scenes. I mean, it's such a really good one. Carell, of course, he is more of a supporting role, but his character in this is such a douchebag. Like he does not really have like the best father figure here today. It is a really good performance for him, but man, I was not a fan of the character at all. But that's the point, obviously. All right, number 6 is Little Miss Sunshine. Now, this was actually the one that really showcased Carell's more serious acting chops. This is, of course, like where a dysfunctional family road trips to support their daughter in a beauty pageant. And you got Carell, who plays Frank Gisberg, who's the scholar recovering from like from taking his own life attempt. He's very quiet, melancholic here, and Carell's like it is one of like his early dramatic turns. He does such a good job throughout. Obviously, you have a young Abigail Breslin, Alan Arkin, Greg Kinnear, Tony Collette. It is a really wonderful, heartfelt story. I mean, if you guys haven't seen it, give that one a go. Can't believe this movie turns 20 this year. But anyway. Number 5 is Crazy Stupid Love. Now, Crazy Stupid Love also stars Steve Carell and Ryan Gosling, and it's about a middle-aged man's life who falls apart after his wife asks for a divorce, leading to revenge and guided by a smooth-talking bachelor played by Ryan Gosling, and like crazy twists and turns around. And I remember seeing this movie. I did not really see any of those twists coming, but it is a really nice, probably one of the best rom-coms in recent years. You had Emma Stone, almost said Klein, Kevin Bacon. You had the likes of Julianne Moore, Emma Stone, Marissa Tomei. It is a really good film. If you guys never seen it, do yourself a favor, give it a go. It's a film that doesn't get talked about as much nowadays, but it's a really good one. All right, number 4 is another Adam McKay movie that Carell done, Anchorman. Now, this is, of course, where like 1970s news anchor Ego Ron Burgundy is trying when like a talented female journalist joins the newsroom. And here you got Carell, who plays Brick Tamlin, who's the dimwit weatherman with bizarre non square terror here, and he actually is a fan favorite role. And this was actually one of his like most earliest roles here, because this was actually pre The Office, like before The Office even came out and stuff. And funny enough, this was also like a year after Carell played another news anchor, which was the iconic scene for Bruce Almighty. I didn't include Bruce Almighty because that was more of like a cameo role, really. If I was to do my top 10 favorite roles of Steve Carell, like my top 10 favorite characters, that will definitely be on that list, though, because I quite liked his little cameo in Bruce Almighty and stuff. When, of course, Jim Carrey's Bruce is, messy with him and stuff. That always cracks me up at a time. But Anchorman is really good. I mean, of course, the fight scene towards the end is great. Carell, his chemistry with Paul Rudd, Will Ferrell, and David Koechner is good. It is a really hilarious, like definitely one of the best comedies there is. Very quotable. I mean, who doesn't love Anchorman? All right, number 3 is probably one of his most serious ones to date, and that is Foxcatcher. Now, he actually scored an Oscar nomination for Foxcatcher, and this is based on a true story about this troubled millionaire sponsor who becomes obsessed with an Olympic wrestling, leading to psychological manipulation and tragedy here. And Carell's chilling portrayal of John DuPont is really scary throughout. He really disappears under prosthetics and delivers a restrained performance, which actually did earn him an Oscar nomination. Oh, I'm trying to remember. Oscar winners 2015 actors. I'm trying to remember who won that year. I think Eddie Redmayne won that year for that. Boy, that best actor race was pretty stacked there. But yeah, of course, obviously he lost out to Eddie Redmayne, which I feel like if it wasn't even for Eddie Redmayne, although actually I think Michael Keaton should have won that year, but I think Carell could have had gotten more award recognition there, but he was still great. Like the prosthetics was great. Really a very chilling, scary performance that you never really seen Steve Carell do. Like he's done dramatic stuff beforehand. Like I mentioned The Way Back, Little Miss Sunshine, but this is his most serious role today, and it is a really good performance. Really captivate Carell's portrayal here, because he does. Spoiler alert here, obviously, he does take out a person's life. So yeah, and of course you got like Mark Ruffalo, you got Channing Tatum. It's such a really good film. If you guys never seen it, give that one a go. All right, my number 2 is obviously a TV show and his most iconic show to date, The Office. Now, this show, of course, I can say this was the one that really put Steve Carell on the map. Like, obviously, beforehand, he was in, remember he was in Curly Sue? That was, his first feature. Obviously, he appeared in Bruce Almighty, Anchorman, Sleepover. But this is the one that really put him on the map for most people. Of course, this is the NBC comedies sitcom, mockumentary style sitcom following the everyday lives of employees at the Dunder Mifflin Strand branch. And you got Carell, who plays the iconic character of Micah Scott, who of course Carell's turned Micah from like a near copy of Ricky Gervais's David Brent into something uniquely heartfelt here, and some really fun lines here, like he threw out in this. I mean, obviously you got other cast of characters from Ray Wilson, John Krasinski, Jenna Fisher. It is such a really good one. It's such a shame we're probably never going to see Carell in the paper. Like, I would love to see him come back as Micah Scott Wednesdays, but I don't think that's ever going to happen. Obviously, he will go on to be replaced by Ed Helms, which I actually did not mind Ed Helms, but obviously he was no Steve Carell, so yeah. But still, The Office, I mean, I'm not gonna pretend I'm like the world's biggest Office guy. I mean, I like The Office stuff, but I was never like the world's biggest, The Office lover. But The Office was a pretty decent series and cool cast of characters, and it would be cool seeing him come back as Mike Scott one of these days. But who knows? And obviously, my number one favorite is the 40-year-old version. Now, this was also one of the ones that really put him on the map too, for film wise here. This was actually like his first major lead role, per se. 4-year version, of course, was directed by Judd Apatow, starring Steve Carell, Catherine Keener, Paul Rudd, Seth Rogen. Like this was actually one of Kat Dennings' earliest films as well. Where of course a shy middle-aged electronics store employee, his coworkers makes it their mission to help him lose his virginity at 4 years old here. And he is like, of course, very plays the role of Andy sister, who's the sweet, socially awkward collectibles enthusiast here. And he really does such a good job throughout. Really hilarious. Like his Kelly Clarkson line is always hilarious every time you rewatch that. I mean, even Kelly Clarkson always loved that scene. So yeah, but 4-year version is really quotable. It's really hilarious. Judd Apatow's first ever feature. Good job there. I mean, who doesn't love 4-year version, right? I can't believe that movie's literally about 20 years old. That's insane to believe. But that's pretty much it there. Here is, of course, my quick rundown. Number 10, Date Night. 9, The Big Short. 8, Despicable Me. 7, The Way, Way Back. 6, Little Miss Sunshine. 5, Crazy Stupid Love. 4, Anchorman. 3, Foxcatcher. 2, The Office. And number 1 is 4-year version. Now, there are a few other ones I could have included. Let's see. What else we got here? Get Smart, which is the remake of the Don Adams series. The aforementioned Bruce Almighty. Of course, he was in the. He did do the spin-off Evan Almighty, which wasn't so good. Let's see. What else we got here? Beautiful Boy, which of course was like one of Timothy Chalamet's earliest films. Seeking a Friend for the End of the World with Keira Knightley was a pretty decent little film. Dan in Real Life. Vice, which is the Dick Cheney film. Battle of the Sexes, also with Emma Stone, where Carell plays Bobby Riggs. That was a really good portrayal. The Morning Show, he of course appeared on. Hope Springs. I mean, he said some, definitely not there for schmucks. That was so good. I really did not care for Space Force. I wanted to like Space Force, but that really was so good. So, yeah, but let me let you guys. What are some of your favorite Steve Carell film or TV projects? Draw comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, hit that bell for notification. This is Timmy signing out.